So for those of you listening on YouTube, we're firing it up. We're getting ready to do Facebook Live. So now do the redo title that
What?
in Facebook Live.
You have to redo it?
Yes,
All?
yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I
talking.
say you can't copy and paste it or redo
You
it.
should switch the camera though, because people are probably like, what is
We'll
going
do
on?
number 3. This is where we're at. We're both over here on the engineer desk. Well, they're looking on the deal. Yes, we're lighting up YouTube. We're getting ready to do Facebook Live. You know, one thing I forgot to do, and forgot to say, is where's the intro music?
Yeah, you don't.
So start.
You don't get that.
So start broadcast. Okay, we should be up and live on Facebook Live here. We're both on the other side because Jesse's here on a Thursday. On that, we're running the engineering desk and showing Stephanie's.
I'm running the engineering
Yeah,
desk.
Stephanie's
He won't
actually
leave me alone.
doing that. Well,
I don't know why
I'm
we're getting
tuning.
horrible
See how I was
static.
hitting the yellow on the deal? You needed to tune me down a little bit
Well,
on that. See how I'm
because we
doing
were
this?
shouting Thursday. We were
That.
excited.
No, you that. No, see there you've got it going right. I can't hear what you're doing now, but
Good.
so yeah, we're up on the show, getting ready to rock and roll on that. For that, the one thing we didn't figure out is how to do the intro music.
So Roy's gonna sing for everybody.
Are you sure? Are you ready
just
for
kidding.
that?
Okay, go back over there and let me
Okay.
do my job.
Okay, roll over there on the engineering
I'll
desk
keep the camera on me though. so
and
you guys
on
can
the
look at me.
deal on
Just
that.
kidding.
Well, I'll see if my headphones are working over here, and I can see what's going on the whole enchilada of that. Here we go. Lots of big news coming up today all across the Inland Empire on that, and I didn't even fire up my computer yet today for that. So we're working on that. So did you have anything going on exciting today, Stephanie?
No.
Really?
Yeah,
That's not compelling at all.
I know.
You're supposed to have a. Yeah, I thought you were going to say yes. I'm learning. I learned how to start up all the computers,
You
get us up on the.
You said exciting and happy. You didn't say another. But you know what?
Yes.
This is cool. I've always wanted to learn how to do this and mess around with all the buttons back here. So if it's all messed up during the show, we're still going to blame Roy because
Yes.
why not?
It's always Roy's fault. No, you picked up on it really fast. On
I did because I'm freaking wicked smart.
well, I'm not going to disagree with that.
And I even learned how to do the picture-in-picture thing.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Somewhat.
I'm going to stop messing around with
Th-
it. 'cause
no,
now
that is actually. What does it take? About 10 steps to do the inside. Picture thing. That's probably the most complicated thing on that whole thing to do.
Yeah.
Is to do the inside picture doohickey on that whole enchilada. But it was.
Did you just say doohickey?
Yes.
Wow.
Did I'm sure. Aren't you familiar with the term doohickey?
No, it's not in my. It's not in my dictionary.
Man.
Sadly.
Oh,
it's
that's
not.
it. That's a very famous hillbilly term. I mean that.
Well, I kind of figured it came from the hillbilly area, but I don't know. Oh my gosh, I like it way better back here. You're so far away.
Oh man, that. No, that's where.
I wish I would have known I was sitting back here. I would have came in my pajamas.
Whoa. You want to pursue that line of
My
topic?
pajamas are way different than your pajamas.
Yeah,
so-
mine are always with me all the time.
I don't get it. Oh, your undies? Okay.
No, nothing.
Let's not skip. Okay.
I never
let's
wear
just stop.
them, so-
People are getting mental pictures. It's not right. Let's move on to the news.
Boy, that's the first time you've ever said that.
What?
Now you shut yourself on the camera. See, now you're in
I
control
said
of the
I
buttons.
was sorry. I know. So if anyone wants me to take the camera off Roy, go ahead and write in because I'm also following the comments as well. Hey, Lucy, thanks for watching.
I haven't even
We
got to the
appreciate you.
comments yet on that.
That's fine.
Of that everybody tuned up in and watching on the old meter. No, I've been working all day. And finally, I got my water line project here redone here on the finished up just about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I've been busy all day, cutting and moving in plastic pipe and plumbing and all that stuff, getting it done. But I finally did get it done. Got everything hooked up, pressure testing it right now just to make sure there's no leaks or any pipes are going to blow off or anything like that. But it it passed all the preliminary checks on that. So she rocks and rolls on that. That project will be completed, and that was a. I got to give a big shout out to my dad because he figured it out. We had an old in the old concrete plant. There's an old, it needed a 2-inch service line in for because they use a lot of water in concrete. And eventually the pipes rusted out from whenever it was put in like probably the 50s. So we were thinking, we've been contemplating, we've been turning the water on and off and stuff. The pipe's been leaking, we've been patching it and yada yada. And finally, it's getting to the point where you got to do something. So we had it, and he said, "You know what? I got it figured out how we're going to do this." They said, "What?" And he says, "We're going to shove a 3/4 pipe right up the old 2-inch pipe, which is about 300 feet." So I said, "Yeah, that ought to work." So yeah, it was a little bit shaky though. The last 30 feet, the pipe was really rusty inside. And I got it up there and couldn't get it, so I had to go back around and come back through the other side and hammer through a 3/8 rod, steel rod through it, and knock off all the rust. And then I was able to, tap the pipe through the last 30 feet or so and get it done. So, but it feels good to be. It feels good to complete a project like that. Whenever you do something, you set a goal or something like that to get it done, and you complete it, get it done. Man, there's nothing more gratifying than finishing a project, at least in my world.
Amen, brother.
You got that. So that was my fun project of the day. That's why I'm vamping.
That was fun.
That was why I'm vamping on the.
I did do something fun today.
Well, what was it?
In our MPR, our multi-purpose room at La Jolla Elementary, I created a cute little art wall for our TK students to stare at and look at for the holiday season with cute little reindeers that are amazing parent volunteer Emmeline Legaspi made, and Lucy made her do it. So all because of thanks of that, TK gets to look at cute artwork. Thanks, girls.
There you go. Of that, no, that was cool.
Yeah, super cute.
They allow that's a good subject to bring up because it's been it's been a lot of controversy, or people have raised the concerns. Do they actually, and some schools have banned Christmas or, attempted to ban Christmas or any sort of, stuff around there. So, I'm assuming since you're using reindeer stuff, what's the policy at Marina Valley, let's say for Marina Valley Unified School District? Do they allow people to say Merry Christmas, or is it allowed to be put in the schools? Or kind of what's the whole deal about that around here?
Well... Now you're putting me on blast on that one.
Well, no, I'm just
so
curious.
Our school, particularly our school, I don't know how other schools are, avoid the Merry Christmas. It's the Happy Holidays. I haven't ever heard anyone say, "Excuse me, you can't say that," or "Please don't put that up." I think it's just kind of a common, everybody kind of avoids that kind of thing now. But we do have students that don't celebrate Christmas and don't do all that. So when it comes to like Christmas parties or Christmas performances or anything like that, parents are told if you don't want your students celebrating it, to not have them come to school that day or pull them out. That's kind of just how we do it at our site, though. I don't know how other ones are.
Yeah, I think it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that, that, or maybe, that you're not allowed, or, it's just kind of, it's being shunned or not allowed.
I wouldn't say, yeah, you're not allowed. It's not that you're not allowed to do it. It's just avoided.
Yeah, well, that's what I say. It's kind of sad because, like, it used to be from the other parts that, that was just like the normal course of what was going on. What is the harm in saying Merry Christmas at school? If you don't like, or you don't do that, or what, if you don't like that, that's fine. Like you say, just roll by and move on. And, I think we, I just think I just kind of am concerned about that we're into banning. We're trying to make like a monolithic society where we don't express our true feelings. If that's part of your deal, Christmas and that, it's been a very big tradition in the United States and elsewhere. What's the, I don't know. It just kind of hits me wrong that you can't be, you're afraid to be yourself.
My thing is, okay, if you want to be able to say Merry Christmas, which I think people should be able to say.
Switch the camera to you when you're talking.
Why? I don't want to. That's the beauty of me being back here.
Well, I can go over there and switch it myself.
No, it's okay. I got it. But
see how that works?
Okay, so if I want to say Merry Christmas to you and you don't want to say Merry Christmas, I think that I should be prepared, not prepared, but accepting of somebody else saying Merry, or not Merry, but Happy Hanukkah. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
Why don't people say Happy Hanukkah or whatever their religion celebrations might be? Because I've never heard anybody ever say anything other than Merry Christmas. Like, why is that?
Oh, I mean, there was a whole. I mean,
Ooh, he doesn't know what
the
to
Kwanzaa.
say.
No, Kwanzaa. What is it? I'm thinking is
There
it
we
Kwanzaa?
go. I personally can't. I know,
You found out where the
but I don't know
button
how to
was.
switch it from black.
Yeah, you ain't get figured the black to get the
haven't-
picture in of it. Yeah, so you could inset yourself into the. Yeah, I wonder if you could. That would be cool if you could insert camera 3 into the inset while we're both talking, and then we.
I know that's what I was trying to do.
Because Jesse does it. There must be some way to do it.
There's got to. Okay, anyways,
But yeah, we'll figure that out.
learning on.
Yeah, learning on OJT on the job training, but that's part of the fun of things. But
no,
no,
really.
I back in the day, a lot of people said a lot of different things. Yeah, like you see, Happy Hanukkah, happy if you were Jewish, you said that. Some people said Happy Holidays, some said nothing. Some people don't celebrate it at all. So there was no angst on whichever way you did it. There was
Right.
no. Okay, if you want to say there was, and that's what kind of concerns me is not no matter what you believe, how you celebrate it, how you do it. I mean, the vast majority of Americans celebrate Christmas. Merry Christmas, that's the deal. And what I don't get. Again, I think it's like the total stuff of all going across the board of if one person or a small group of people don't like something, they try and shame the rest of the people into not doing that. And that to me has some devastating consequences, I think, across all society, because then you get to the point a lot where we're doing now, and I think that's what causes a lot of people angst, because you're sitting there walking on eggshells every time you say something. You're thinking, instead of just saying it or expressing how you feel, you're worried about offending somebody or getting into trouble or getting kicked out of school or whatever.
Exactly.
So again, that's just me. But I think from our society all across the board of doing this, I just find that kind of sad in a way that we're that. Not just in that, but just in general, we're getting that tone of where that tone or that feeling where you just can't say or express yourself as you feel it, and or as you say it, and hey, if it somewhere something is going to offend somebody somewhere.
Well, yeah, no matter what you say.
So if we're going to use that,
you offend me all the time.
I know that. Then that's
I still come back every day.
Yeah, how much does it bother either you or me? I mean,
Well,
I mean,
should have heard what I was saying last night.
not particularly, but we could discuss it.
I'm
But
kidding.
I know, but it's part of the deal. I mean, just because you offend somebody or did it, or it's going to offend somebody or somebody's going to take it the wrong way or something, means you're going to deprive 99.99999% of the people, or you're not going to live your life as a happy-go-lucky person you should be. Because you shouldn't be afraid to express yourself.
Did you just...
Yes, I did. I forgot to turn off my mic on that. But you shouldn't be afraid to say what you feel, how you feel it, express yourself in that, especially around this time of year.
See, but I think that people just hold a grudge for way too long. I think people don't know how to get over things when they're upset. I think people just aren't as forgiving as they used to be.
And do you think maybe it's because of this? Like, everybody's just so worried about...
Yeah, everybody tippy-toes around everybody.
Yes.
Just call it like it is. Roy, you drive me freaking insane. See? He's still alive.
Yes. Yeah, and I didn't melt into a pillar of sugar.
I mean, you might later, but...
I'm not crawling in the fetal position wanting to kill myself over that. because I realize I do that. That's just what I do. I drive a lot of people crazy, but they love me for it.
Yeah.
Most people do. Again, it's
People
like
aren't accepting of other people's flaws.
yes, or the way they are. This is just like I say. Look at the crazy hand gestures. You know,
I know. I
that-
almost get decked out every time. That's why sitting back here is awesome.
but that's just the way I express, the up and down with the voice modulation and the crazy hand gestures and all that stuff is just me. I mean, a lot of people like it. Some probably don't.
Right.
That's just the way it is. You're not going to be, nobody likes everything 100% of the time. Some people are saying, that guy's a crazy freaking lunatic. Well, whatever. It takes all kinds to make this world, and the danger of it I see is like you say. Would you want 7 billion people on this earth that were cloned that were exactly like you?
I mean, the world would be a lot happier and a better place if they were, but Jessica writes in, do people really care anymore? It's about celebrating whatever holiday you celebrate. Spot on, Jessica.
Yeah, but I agree with that. But you should not have any angst in celebrating it the way.
I think everybody should take a day to maybe kind of celebrate in a way other holidays and the way people celebrate them. Be more accepting of what other people do. Why can't we do that?
I think that's what it was talking about. What?
Oh, were you? I wasn't listening.
That's what I mean. What is offensive about?
Whoopsie.
That's what I was talking. If somebody Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all the different ones that people celebrate, what if that's what trips your boat?
I mean, that's awesome. We should maybe
Right.
kind of. I wish we would have thought about that sooner, because then we can honor other traditions.
I
and
think
stuff
it
like
should
that.
be-
That'd be really cool.
Instead of walking or either banning or outright banning things, we should be more, and this is the way I see it, we should be more inclusive of how everybody does it and accepting of that, as long as they're not bothering you. I mean, this is kind
Exactly.
of this is kind of like the not to get too far off on the religious track of it or stuff, but if you're a Christian and you believe in Jesus Christ and all the whole 9 yards of that, I see so many of those in that community that do get offended when they see somebody celebrating it in a different way than they
Right.
do, or that. Why, to me, and this has always been puzzling to me, which is a great, is why are you concerned about what Roy is doing? If I am going to burn in hell or whatever the heck is because I'm doing X, Y, and Z that you see that, why are you worried about? That's for me to worry about. If you live your life and you believe that way and you think you're going up to heaven when you die and all that stuff, and you're going to be sitting at the pearly gates or shaking hands with Jesus or whatever, fine. You go to celebrate, go to your church, do your community activities, believe in that. But if I happen to believe, or somebody else, just takes a different track on that, why are you worried about what I'm doing?
Exactly.
I'm the one that's going to ultimately. I go across this. I went across this, and I actually just talked to him the other day as a former councilman, Jeff Guyba, because he always says, "Well, I'm always praying for you, Roy, and I'm afraid I'm not going to see you in heaven." I said, "Why are you worried about it?" I said, I come to the conclusion that a long time ago, my philosophy on it, and I figured my whole philosophy is, you know what? I don't really know what the heck's going on in the afterlife. I kind of live in the moment of whatever it is. But I figure, you know what? If you live your life, pretty straight up, standard, don't screw people over, treat everybody nice, whatever happens on the other side of it, if you believe like the true atheist, that when you die, that's it, nothing more of that, or, whatever, you're going, to the whole heavens and the whole theory on that, or the 72 virgins or whatever the heck, I figure, hey, that's a deal, because I said, and I was kind of joking with Guyba when I was talking to that. I said, you know what, Guyba, I said, I might be the one, I said, when you get up there, I might be running the whole deal when it gets up there, that, because because they like me so much. How do you,
right.
of the deal. So again, that's why I don't know. I mean, everybody deals with that in their own particular way, and that's kind of the way I deal with it. I don't worry about. Again, it's just kind of like my philosophy. I don't worry a lot about things I don't have any control over. If somebody else is making a decision about that, they're going to do that whatever the way is, and then I'll have to adjust or make. If it's affecting me in some way, I'm going to have to adjust or maneuver around it or figure out how to do that or how I'm going to cope with that. That's fine. I don't worry or think a lot about what people are doing that that I don't have any particular control over. So again, maybe that's why I'm happy as a lark most of the time, because I'm not. I've found that it just creates when you do or you get all upset or think about what would happen if this person does this or this happens, yada 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 yada. All you do is mainly the one person you're damaging the most is yourself, because instead of spending your time, your energy on positive pursuits or what you want to do, you're sitting there holding back or having all this angst about what this is going to happen or what happens if this or and that's actually stifling you more than anybody else.
Right. I completely agree. I don't think you're going to hell, though. I'm going to swing back to that.
Or are you hoping I'm going to hell?
I mean, if you are, I'll see you down there, buddy. But I want to go back to the Christmas thing.
Yes.
I think we should kind of do, okay, so Hanukkah, don't they open like a gift every night?
Yeah, I think, what is it, a 10-day celebration, 10 or 11 days,
I
or
think
7 days or something like that?
Here's my thoughts. Check
Yes.
it out. I think that
Yes.
we'll celebrate that in studio, so you can bring me a gift for the next 10 days. And then we'll also celebrate
I think
Christmas.
it's 7.
So then, no, I think it's 10 or 13. So then,
Pretty soon it's going to be 365.
okay. Well, then we'll do Christmas as well. And then in Italy, actually, they celebrate Christmas in January. So then we'll do it all over again in January. And then in order for you to not go to hell, I think you should start giving back so then you can give me a paycheck. And then all will be right with the world. What do you think? He loves it.
Yeah, sounds
Sold.
good. No, I think I mean, to me, I don't, I don't have any problem with however you believe. Like you say, the celebration of Hanukkah, whatever it is, 10, 12, 7, 8. I'm thinking it's down to 2 days now or something, but
Well, I mean, now, yeah. No, it's getting closer.
But no, that's I have no problem with however you celebrate or what you believe. As long as you're not affecting me, have at it. It's a and I think if a lot of people would take, or if the majority, let's put it that way, the majority of the people would take that tact, we'd have a lot. Again, like with all this other stuff, we'd have a lot less angst. In the world of going across the board on that, because let's say, let me ask you this: if, when you're in the school or just a particular school you visit a lot, to that, do they say did they say nothing? Do they say Merry Christmas, or how did the kids approach this stuff?
I mean, I think it's all over the place. Some people say Merry Christmas. Some say Happy Holidays. A lot of people mainly say Happy Holidays. Lucy writes in, it's 8 days for Hanukkah, so go ahead and pay up. No, but it really is.
At least it's off the double digit thing.
Thanks, Lucy. I think it just depends on the person, really. I personally don't understand why people don't say it. But at the same time, I am one that says Happy Holidays because I don't want to offend anybody. But I would love it if somebody came up to me and was celebrated a different tradition or holiday. I would love it if they said it to me, because in that way, that's the only way I'm going to learn and understand where they're coming from. And I think that's always a good thing. Right.
No, I do. But again, like I say, again, if your family or whatever celebrates Christmas and that's your thing, I see nothing wrong with saying Merry Christmas.
Right.
What would really make me happy over this holiday season, if just people just said it, did it, like they feel it, and let the chips fall where they may. I mean.
But would anyone really get mad if you said Merry Christmas? I don't see anyone being like, what did you just say? I mean, there's so many other things I can say where people would have that response, Merry Christmas.
Right.
I just don't see being one of them.
You know,
I don't know.
and
I'm not
I
gonna
don't know.
test it.
Right.
Let's throw you out. You know what? Over the weekend, let's throw you out in the streets. We'll put you at Marina Valley Mall or maybe the Tyler Mall, and then you can say Merry Christmas and let's see what happens.
Well, yeah, that might be a good.
Test
Yeah,
it.
see what the response comes back with.
We'll use you.
You well,
Dun,
yeah,
dun,
crash test dummy.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, that actually would be kind of a good experiment just to see how people react in that, because I mean, it used to be like 98.7% of the time people, if you said Merry Christmas, they would say Merry Christmas back to you. I mean, that's just kind of that, and again, I kind of see it strange as the culture of that, because I don't know what the polling numbers are, but I mean, I'm sure it's got to be. I think the overwhelming majority of the people in in the United States celebrate Christmas, for that, and to ignore that part of it, because I don't see it as, if you're saying that's not that. I know that and I know former Councilman George Price, he called it a Christmas tree, but I know when he was a council member, I don't remember when they started, probably 4 or 5 years ago, but I mean, most of the cities and stuff, it used to be we were lighting up the Christmas tree. Now they changed it to some other name of da-da-da-da, because it, offended everybody. But I mean, he still called it a Christmas tree when they were introducing it to that. But I mean, that's, I don't know. It's part of the whole experience of that. I mean, if you're going to limit it, I mean, I think you should not have anything at all. If we're going to say as a society we're not going to recognize one, or you're not going to recognize one, you're not going to recognize any of them.
Right.
Which technically would probably be the best or the most thing on that, if you want to say government is a neutral playing field where you don't say anything, or where you don't address those issues, or you can be like that. So I mean, I can see the cutting of it. I kind of see it in the public realm as being either and or. Either you're gonna let it all run, or you're gonna ban it all. And so that's why I kind of see the thing of, if you reference a Santa Claus, like you're talking about a reindeer or whatever of that, which is always, in most cases, is associated with Christmas. So, you're kind of a de facto, if you're letting that stuff in, you're kind of acknowledging that, because that was a tradition, the way it was always, that's the way most people perceive that as part of the Christmas, celebration take.
Right.
So that's why I'm kind of, because I mean,
don't throw it at me right now. I'm doing like
you're experimenting with the technical side of the broadcast.
I'm having so much fun.
On that, well,
it's horrible.
I wonder what's going on. I wonder if this stuff will work tomorrow when we come back. Of that.
Know.
Let's get into let's run the video thing. This is
what video thing?
The video I showed you. Let's play the video of that. I'll intro it in, and then have the video set up.
No, I'm not ready.
Well, get it
Well,
ready.
I'm figuring out the other thing, so talk about something else right now.
That's not how this works.
I'm sorry. Hang on, I have it almost figured out.
No, it's fun, but no, I'll talk about. Tell me when you're ready to show the video, because we went through the
Where do you want it to start at?
It should be ready to go. You should just be able to hit the button, and it should light up on that. We've been covering the a little bit of the impeachment hearings and stuff like that. And this is the one thing that was a deal. It's all been and we talked about it yesterday with Susan Shelley, and on Tuesday with Cliff Cummings on that, between the Judiciary Committee's going to send it to the House, the impeachment vote, and then the explosive Inspector General's report, which I don't know how else you can determine it, but basically said Trump didn't do anything. There was no evidence of anything went wrong. If anything, the FBI was the one that was that was actually trampling on many of our civil rights, over American citizen civil rights, which should be the real focus of that, on that top of that. But the second part of this was the whole Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. We ran the clip of big bad Joe Biden, 78, challenging, being a tough guy against an 83-year-old over his son Hunter Biden and him collecting all the money from the Ukraine, 50 grand a month. Well, at the hearings today, a congressman, I forget who it was, but he was a Republican congressman. He stepped up and said, "Okay, this is what this is your Hunter Biden that it was collecting 50 grand a month. Let's see what he might have been doing with this stuff." So go ahead and see if we can cue the video from Fox News.
Mr. Chairman, this amendment strikes the reference to Joe Biden as the center of the proposed investigation.
Hit full screen.
It with the true topic of the investigation, Burisma and Hunter Biden.
Hit full
An
screen.
essential element of the Democrats' case on abuse of power is that the Bidens did nothing wrong. It can only be an abuse of power and not a correct use of power if the president was pursuing something under which there was no reasonable basis to ask a question about Hunter Biden and Burisma. Hunter Biden and Burisma, well, that's an interesting story. And I think just about every American knows there's something up with that. $86,000 a month, no experience, working for some foreign government while your dad's the vice president of the United States. Is there anyone who believes this is okay? I know we got a few of my Democrat colleagues maybe run for president or might run for president one day. Would you let your vice president have their son or daughter or family member out moonlighting for some foreign company? Maybe I'll use language familiar to the former vice president. Come on, man. This looks dirty as it is. Hunter Biden was making more than 5 times more than a board member for ExxonMobil. I've heard of that company. And so I wanted to read up on Hunter Biden, learn a little more about him. I found this very extensive profile in the New Yorker. And here's what it says. Hunter said that at that point, he had not slept for several days. Driving east on Interstate 10 just beyond Palm Springs, he lost control of his car, which jumped the median and skidded to a stop on the shoulder of the westbound side. He called Hertz, which came to collect the damaged car and gave him a second rental. The Hertz rental officer told me he found a crack pipe in the car and on one of the consoles a line of white powder residue. Beau Biden's attorney general badge was on the dashboard. Hertz called the Prescott Police Department and officers filed a narcotics offense report listing items seized in the car, including a plastic bag containing white powdery substance, a Secret Service business card, credit cards, and Hunter Biden's driver's license. That is what we would call evidence. And I don't want to make light of anybody's substance abuse issues. I know the president's working real hard to solve those throughout the country, but it's a little hard to believe that Burisma hired Hunter Biden to resolve their international disputes when he could not resolve his own dispute with Hertz rental car over leaving cocaine and a crack pipe in the car. It continues. Hunter stayed in Los Angeles for about a week. He said that he needed to get away and forget sooner after his arrival in L.A. He said he asked a homeless man in Pershing Square where he could buy crack. Hunter said that the man took him to a nearby homeless encampment where a narrow passageway between tents, someone put a gun to his head before realizing that he was the buyer. He returned to buy more crack a few times that week. Again, not saying, not casting any judgment on any challenges someone goes through in their personal life, but it is just hard to believe that this was the guy wandering through homeless encampments buying crack that was worth $86,000 a month to Burisma Holding. And that might be one of the reasons why when ABC asked Hunter Biden, hey, you think you would have gotten this job in the absence of your dad being the vice president? Well, he said, probably not. And then I looked to the record evidence, and I looked to the testimony of Mr. Kent. Mr. Kent was one of the witnesses they called on the first day. He said Burisma was so dirty that our own embassy had to pull out of a joint sponsorship with them. When Ambassador Yovanovitch was being prepped for her Senate confirmation, the Obama administration was so worried about the corruption around Burisma and Hunter Biden that they held special prep moments to try to get ready for the inevitable questions about this obvious corruption that the president asked about. Mr. Kent, again, one of their witnesses from the first day, also gave testimony that that the head of Burisma had stolen $23 million in the U.S. and the U.K., and that he paid a bribe to get off the hook. So again, it's not as if Burisma is pulling out new plays. Their playbook is to do dirty stuff and then go and pay bribes and hire the people necessary to make those problems go away. This is why the minority hearing issue is so important, by the way. You wonder why Republicans are so angry that we didn't have a hearing to put on our own witnesses and own evidence. And you may wonder why, well, if they feel so good about their case, why did they block our ability to put in evidence? It's because we have the ability to show that Burisma is corrupt. We have the ability to show that Hunter Biden is corrupt. And that totally exculpates the president. Because there is no way in the United States of America that honestly pursuing actual corruption is an impeachable offense. That's why I offer the amendment, and I encourage my colleagues to vote for it.
And, of course, they did not. The Democrats did not. Why would we want to actually investigate the things that are going wrong? Or if there is corruption, why would we not want to do that? They violated Carter Page's civil rights. They went after him. They made up lies. The FBI did, under the direction of whomever. Comey, I'm going to say Hillary Clinton was pulling the strings on all this crap back in the day with Joe Biden and stuff like that. Now, his kid's over there making $86,000 a month over at the Ukraine or whatever the heck, being a board member of that, while he's got crack pipes over here in his rental car in Palm Springs. He's buying, and this is in 2014-16, not 20 years ago when he was a kid or anything else. Buying crack from the homeless down in L.A. Been in the rehab recently while he's doing all this stuff, and the ones from the left are always going on about corruption and all that stuff, and Donald Trump did this and that. What, as the question was asked, what about all this? You're not concerned that our law enforcement officers, agencies are using the tools of the United States government to destroy people, lying about it? Because, like you said, one day they could okay, so they're going after Donald Trump, which has got a lot of resources and stuff to fight this. What if they're coming after you next?
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
Can you look at your screen?
I'm looking at my
I
screen.
did it!
Yes, you got it in there. You figured it out.
Okay, sorry. That's why I was celebrating when you went on your rant. I did it! Yay!
Yes, you're hired.
Does that mean I get a paycheck?
As long as you don't tell when I ask for the full screen that you put it up on full screen and not tell me no. Yes.
Well, I was in the middle of figuring this out, and then you make me get all the way out of it again. It's like, oh, gosh.
I know, that was fun. But no, would you be concerned, are you concerned that our law enforcement agencies are using the tools and the resources of the U.S. government to come after people, lying about it, not following procedures, and using that just because they don't want Donald Trump elected?
Can I phone a friend on this one? You're so serious.
No,
the whole thing, I'm lost. I don't want to make a comment on it.
Well, yeah,
I'm
but
confused. It's a whole different...
what if they're using the?
What if they're not though? You're not always
because
right.
If they're no, it was in the Inspector General's report. That's what went on yesterday.
Thanks, Lucy.
Did they come out? No, that's what I'm saying. What if they?
But who's to say that inspector's report is genuine?
What if
everybody's lying and doing shady stuff? Who's to say they're not? He's getting worked up.
They're not denying it.
They're not.
James Comey,
are they admitting
Shrunken Page are not denying the facts of what has.
I don't even know who any of these people.
These are the ones that are in there.
I'm the worst at politics. I don't know why you asked me.
It's not politics. That's just.
I don't know why you're asking me all these.
This is not politics.
What are you talking about? It's always politics.
No, this is about our law enforcement agencies.
Mm-hmm.
What if they decide to, okay, let's say you're on the social media networks or in school or something, and let's say you offend somebody's kid or something, or some parent's mad at you, and their husband is a lieutenant in whatever law enforcement agency, and they start just going down, running all the computers, running checks on there, making up stories about you or lying about it to get information on you because they want to get back at you.
They do it all the time.
That's illegal.
No, I don't know.
That should stop. That because once that starts, we are no longer a free society, then they can come after you for anything at any time if we allow it.
But okay, so you're saying that people are going to go and get information on me to use it to backstab me?
Anything, yes.
But then why would I allow somebody to have that kind of information anyway?
Because nobody knew what was going on. See, when the FBI was digging up all this stuff on Carter Page, Trump, and everything
Who's Carter
else.
Page?
He's the one. He's the one that initially supposedly was the first contactor, the one that the CIA got to that said, "Yeah, this guy's asking about some of the stuff that was going on with the Ukraine and stuff, and Biden and Hillary and stuff, and the emails and stuff. What's going on?" So it touched off supposedly, that's what the story is. That's what touched off the whole investigations that have been going on all across the board. Well, again, with not only Donald Trump but with Carter Page, they were sitting there. They were doing a dossier on him. They were illegally obtaining the information that they got because they had no right to get it. They had no subpoena. No, they didn't have any reason to be getting that information, and they did, which is illegal. And what if a cop?
But I feel like they've already been doing that forever, anyways.
So what if a cop just stops you on the road?
Yes, I was probably speeding.
No, just jerks you out of the car, arrests you, doesn't say what, why, or ever, decides, yeah, you're going to jail.
I'm sure I probably did something. No?
They have to have probable cause.
Right.
They have to have a reason to arrest.
That's why I'm saying I'm sure I probably did something if they're going to treat me like that.
But that's exactly what they are doing.
Okay, so then they're doing that and they're not, and people aren't doing anything.
Yes.
How do you know?
Because that's what was in the Inspector General's report.
But that's been happening
the
forever
equivalent.
now.
So do you understand more? Did I break it down enough that you could understand the gravity of the situation?
I still don't believe it. Not from you. I'm not saying.
Not just saying that. Let's take what. Let's just take what it. This was the Independent Inspector General's report coming up, and the people that they're accusing of it are not denying that it happened.
Are they admitting to it?
They're not admitting to it, but they're not denying it.
Well, then.
And they're not, and that's what the whole.
It's probably because it's being investigated, and they're not allowed to talk on it.
That's what the Republican congressman was asking. He says, "Why are we not investigating that?" And because the Democrats have the majority in the House,
don't think
and they
it's
control
being
the
investigated?
process. Yes, they said we're not going to look at it.
I think y'all are just making a conspiracy out of conspiracies that have already been going on forever.
So you would be perfectly okay if a cop decided you're going to jail, tote you down there, put you in jail for 25 years for no particular reason.
I might like it. No, I wouldn't be okay with it, but I don't.
Then if you're not okay
I don't
with
think that would happen.
You're not. It can, and is.
I know it has
happening
happened,
today.
but you're panicking over nothing. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you worried about it?
Okay. You ever heard of the Holocaust?
Yeah.
Where they killed 10 million Jews?
Yes.
You ever heard of the little story that went? I wasn't worried when they hauled Isaac off and he never came back. I never was.
Here we go,
I didn't. I wasn't concerned when Abraham went to the gas chamber and didn't come back. And on and on and on. When they came to get to me, there was nobody there. And that's the importance of this. If you allow it, if you keep allowing it to happen, it's just going to keep becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon, one day, you're going to be the one that's going to be on the wrong side of this.
I don't know. I think you're. I don't know. Yep, I agree.
And that's why it is very important that if we don't have trust in our government, especially
but we never
our law
had
enforcement.
it. That's what I'm saying. This has been happening forever. I don't get why now it's why you're making it a big deal. This has always been happening. It's never going to change.
So you just continue to let it happen.
I don't think sitting here complaining about it's going to change anything. Do you?
This is why all this stuff is important. Because this is why it's important that you pay
But you
attention.
still don't even know that it's even really happened. How do you not know that somebody didn't do something wrong? He's rolling his eyes.
So what do you think? You think Trump did all this and Carter Page? You think Trump went over there and did all this stuff, like they're saying?
Could have.
But you're saying the FBI didn't do any of this, didn't illegally obtain the information,
Who knows? People get information all the time.
It's not that they get information. It's did they
Illegally do it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, half the time people don't.
And
It's
you're
called
okay with
it's called bending the rules.
and you're okay with that.
I just stay out of it because I'm happy.
No, I mean,
I'm
w-
happier
then
not
you're
knowing.
okay with it.
I'm not saying I'm okay with it. If I'm not going to physically go and try and change it, why am I going to sit here and complain about it?
Well, then you're okay with it. You don't
I'm not saying I'm okay with it.
Well, then the only and
But look at how upset you're getting.
this is
over
why
it.
this stuff is important, and why ultimately who you elect into office is important.
Aw.
Because look at let's turn the tables on this. If the Republicans were in the majority in the House of Representatives, as this guy would have done, they would have been investigating it. They would have been hold hearings on it. They would have continued it on up the line, like the guy said. Why don't we investigate this stuff?
Okay, but when did this happen? When did the story break?
2016.
Oh, wow. It's been that long? I thought this was like a week ago.
No, this has been going. This was started.
I
in
know,
the
that's what I'm
campaign.
saying. It's been happening for years.
The FBI, Comey, Strunk, and Page were on a mission to stop Donald Trump from being elected. Do you want your law enforcement to be picking who is going to be your elected representatives?
Why not? So you think law enforcement individuals, people that work for law enforcement, shouldn't be able to vote?
No.
So what are you
They
saying?
were using yours and my taxpayer money. They were using the authority of the United States government to determine who you can vote for.
How do you know? Why do you say that?
Because that was the whole impetus. That is what has been coming out in the whole, and they have not denied it.
But they haven't admitted to it either.
No, they didn't. When they were asked the question, they said, yes, this is what we did.
I don't get it.
So you're okay with them determining
I don't get how they determined who I vote for.
because they were on, their whole deal was they were trying to get dirt information. They said Donald Trump cannot be elected president. And even if he does get elected, we are going to use the full force of whatever we have to get him out of office.
Okay.
That's our law enforcement, our FBI.
They don't like him.
That's why we have elections. They should be doing that in the political process, not using yours or mine or the law enforcement
But let's
authorities
say
to
that
determine
Donald
it.
Trump or whoever is president went on a killing spree and was hiding it, and the FBI and everybody knew. Wouldn't you think
Then they
that
should be. That's what the
But
impeachment
then don't you think they can
process
take your
is
money
for.
and find out if that's true?
They would be doing that, and that's what the Constitution. This is a great lesson in the Constitution of the United States, because let's just say hypothetically a president committed a crime. Let's just go back to the whole allegation of the Nixon deal of burning the tapes or the cover-up or something of calling a crime. Well, they held the hearings and did that. Let's even go further. Let's just say the hypothetical user. Let's say the president of the United States murdered somebody. Cold blood, shot them right out in the town square. Everybody's seen it. That's why we have the impeachment process, and the Congress and the Senate can take the president out like that. They don't have to. That's what the impeachment process. They don't have to have a trial. It's not that he's guilty in that, but they can remove him from office immediately if they think. That's what the whole process was put in place. If you read the Federalist Papers and stuff of why they put the impeachment process in, if the president ever became a danger to the American citizens, or that because he does have a lot of concentrated authority, commander-in-chief of the military, things like that.
Right.
If the Congress determined, hey, there's something wrong with this guy, man, let's just say he's tripped out of his tree, whatever. He had a mental breakdown or something of that. They can take him out of the office of President of the United States like that, through the impeachment process. House could impeach him, 2/3 of the Senate vote, he's gone. Joe, private citizen now. Now you can come in. Let's say hypothetically yeah, he committed, a president committed murder or something, then law enforcement can come in, arrest him, then he can go through the criminal justice system, which is what we've had to deal, because basically while the sitting president is in office, except in some very limited capacities, he is not subject to, in a lot of cases, to criminal prosecution or stuff. That's why they have a lot of these, court cases and Supreme Court cases going back and forth to determine a lot of that, because the president's sitting in a unique position of all this stuff. And just think of it, the bottom line this way, is if the president, and the reason they gave the president a lot of latitude in this stuff is because he has a lot of important decisions to make, or has to make a lot of decisions on the fly, or instant decision. What if the big red buttons push? Hey, Russia's launching a nuclear missile. Man, we got to make a decision. Are we striking back or not? The guy that carries from the Secret Service that follows the president everywhere he goes with the black box that's sitting there, because he has to make that snap decision. And he's probably only got a minute or 2 or 5 to make that decision, or potentially a lot of people could be up in smoke real fast. So, again, there's a lot of unique principles, and it was the very brilliance of the founding fathers, the way they designed the Constitution, even back there in the 1700s, to take into account all the stuff they had back in there and how it still applies today. Those guys were absolutely brilliant.
I agree. And you're insane.
And that's why they put the protections in, because that's why that was the Boston Tea Party, and why we split from England, because they were trying to tax us 90% on the tea, and they were running the King of England was basically still had, or was the supreme authority over the United States. And they said, the heck with that. That's why we left that place. We want to be a free people, and that's why Washington crossed the Delaware. We fought the Revolutionary War, and that's why they put these provisions and protections, as in this, that any form of government cannot just randomly decide, Roy is a bad guy, we're going to lock him up for 25 years, or Roy should not be.
Maybe they have reason.
Then they have to.
They need to at least look into it.
Then they should follow the proper procedures to do that.
There's protocol for a reason.
Yes, and that's what was severely violated.
But when people are so upset and so on a mission to stop something, they lose their mind. I mean, look at how upset you're getting.
I'm upset because I don't want them coming after me or you or anybody else. Because
I don't think the FBI is going to really care about us, though. I mean, you think? I got some dirt on you, but I won't share
believe
it.
They've been.
I'm just kidding. I have no dirt on Roy.
I'm gonna get Pop in here. We're gonna start rolling through. Yeah, we'll start rolling through some of the stories that have went on in here. You don't think they can come after you?
Well, let me know when that happens, and I'm hiding.
I'll have him tell you the story when they were shooting at our house, and you know what? Cops never responded. Who do you think was doing the shooting?
They were, I don't know.
And that was
Probably
over.
the cops.
That was over political stuff. You know what we were doing?
Well, you pissed the wrong person off.
You know what we were doing?
Come on.
You know what was happening at that time? We were exercising our right under the political process to repeal the utility tax in Moreno Valley.
Okay. Well, again, like here, Arizona, anywhere,
so,
you piss the wrong person off with a gun, they're going to use
you're
it.
okay. You're okay with them determining how your political process is going, and if they don't like something you're doing, you're okay with them coming after you?
Hey, I'm fine.
With
if
guns?
I know I'm going to piss somebody off and they have a gun, then that's why I don't piss anybody off that has a gun. Roy, do you have a gun? Because I can tell I'm pissing you off right now. I gotta go.
No, but I mean,
sick.
it's the fundamental part.
I'm just saying though, but like we always preach in
happens.
Here, you piss the wrong person off.
It
you
doesn't
gotta get ready
matter.
for the consequence.
No, they are wrong.
If
somebody is violating the law,
saying they're not
and
wrong,
trying to suppress, just like the deal that's going on right now, when law enforcement,
so scared.
when law enforcement is determining who is going to be the president of the United States. You know what they call that? You know, that's called a military or whatever a coup. You know, they most of the time it's the military. When the military goes in and takes out, some tin horn dictator in the third world, and so they call it a military coup. But that's what a coup is. Some people decide all of a sudden we're going to take somebody out for whatever reason, and that's what the danger in this whole process is, and letting that proliferate of what's going on. Because if you let this go, you're giving up all. Do you want to live in a communistic society where you're told to do, dictated to, what you can do,
But
where
don't we?
you can
Okay,
have?
but don't we already? Come on now.
No, we are not. We are. If we continue to allow this stuff
We
to
are,
happen,
and we
No.
were allowing
some
it, and now
some are. Some are. We have that. We're gonna have to have Mason Weaver on.
okay.
We're gonna have to get him back on because he talks about this all the time. He was a former.
It's conspiracy crap. I don't like
No.
talking about it.
Well, maybe.
Yes,
he
this
was.
is conspiracy
He was
crap.
a former leader in the Black Panther Party
Okay.
in the '60s when all this stuff was coming on. Big support, knew Ron Red Dellums and all the whole crew over there. He is now, in today, one of the biggest supporters of Donald J. Trump because he's seen what it was like in the other side. And
Right.
he's seen, I think I sent you his book on the 7 Principles to Success, but his
No,
big,
you didn't.
I think I did. If not, I'll send it to
You
you.
did not send it to me.
I will. But his main book, and he's written several, but it is his main book is how to leave the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's been the left, it's been the socialists, it's been exactly these. They've used these tactics over the years to enslave in you, to make you think you're dependent on them for your survival. That's how they gain power over you. And he says, if you continue to let them keep chipping at this each and every day, pretty soon you're a slave to them. They are determining your path, whatever. They are determining what you can have. We're seeing it every day, and that's what I believe, and a lot of people believe, from down. That's what you have to resist, because I don't want anybody putting a ceiling on what I can do or accomplish.
Well, I'm not saying that that's right or that people should, but I'm saying you piss off the wrong person, they're going to come after you.
Bring it on.
Right?
That's what
I know,
Trump's
but-
saying. Trump says, bring it on. And that's how you expose this stuff. If you run and hide or
But then you
deny
say
it,
bring it on, and then you're sitting here saying that you're upset because they're bringing it, and you don't like
I'm
the
not
way they're-
upset. No, I'm upset that they're not doing anything about it.
He's not upset.
They should be. I'm telling you why I'm upset.
I know.
I'm
I'm
upset
listening.
because we're not dealing with the fundamental problem in our government that we should be doing. We should be investigating why the FBI was trying to determine a presidential election.
I don't know. I agree.
And
It's just easier that way.
And that's why Trump's out there having all these rallies and stuff, saying, and he's been spot on. It's been a witch hunt. They've been after me from the day one. They were after, and this started before the campaign. It started in 2016, before the election. They were trying to derail his election. They couldn't do it. They were trying to undermine him while he was president. The people that were working, you know who's in charge ultimately of the FBI?
Who?
The President of the United States. His own people were undermining him in his job as presidency.
Well, of course. He pissed a lot of people off. Not saying that it's right. I'm not saying it is, so don't start ripping my head off or
No, I'm
anything.
not. I'm
Crazy
just-
man.
But
So
sometimes,
glad I'm not sitting next to you today.
sometimes you
me
got to
tell
do.
ya.
Sometimes you got to do that for the greater good.
Okay, well, regardless, if you piss off the wrong person, be prepared for what might happen. That's all I'm saying, man.
Well, it is.
saying.
You got to take risks. What if?
He takes a lot of risks, so he knows, and he knows exactly how to handle it. If he doesn't accept it, well, not accept it, but
So what if?
he's prepared for it.
So well, exactly, and this is why.
I think you're more upset about it than he is.
Have you seen Trump
No,
about
I'm
all
kidding.
this stuff? Well, we'll play some of the clips on Trump about all. He had the rally. You should when we.
All right,
it-
start wrapping it up.
It was just in before that. No, the the part of it that was really interesting in this is that it's just like, and yes, you sometimes this is what's great about Trump or George Washington. What if they're sitting there, George Washington crossing the Delaware? Looks like they're going to lose. Looks at a lot of the guys behind him are wanting to give up. Says we can't beat we're outnumbered 100-1 by the Redcoats, by the British. We ain't going to make it. Short story. George Washington looks at him and says, "You know what? We're going to go across this river and we're going to go over there and kick their ass."
Oh, you said a bad word.
And that's what they did. But what if he would have said, "You know what? You're right. We can't beat them. They've got us outnumbered, outgunned, yada yada yada." Well, you would be still under the King of England would still be ruling the United States, suppressing all the people just like they were then. You would not be able to say Merry Christmas or that. You would not be able to go to the religion you want. You would be worshiping at the Church of England like you were doing prior to that, like the people were doing prior to that. That's why the importance of this stuff is. And yes, they should have pissed them off because what they were doing was not only wrong but illegal.
Preach it.
So that's why even if you disagree with some of the things that Trump does, I believe every American should be standing with him on this because we should be draining the swamp. We should be cleaning out the corruption. And we should be eliminating no matter who's doing it. If it's your side or the guys you agree with or whatever, you should be cleaning out the corruption of that and the illegalities no matter what. That should be the ultimate nonpartisan, non-political stuff. That is not politics. That is the nuts and bolts of the fundamental way our society works, and how, and even more important than that, how we built the greatest country that gave everyone the greatest opportunity they had to live the life they wanted to be. And if you don't stand up for that, then you will be the one responsible to answer to the next generations coming down the pike of why this happened on your watch. And that's the reason that it's important.
Booyah. I think we should end on that note. I think you did amazing. I got somewhere I got to go. No, I agree. I hear you. I'm listening to you. You're so wise, Roy.
You see, now you're even creating your own little clips of that we'll have to save.
Except for the fact that I'm the one that does all the clips, so that's not going to happen.
No, we'll be back tomorrow on Fantastic Friday.
Fabulous Friday.
Fabulous Friday. Fantastic. Maybe a little foolery Friday on that.
Foolery.
Foolery.
Foolish Friday.
Foolish Friday.
You a fool.
Foo-foo. Not foo. Well, foo-foo Friday. That would be.
Let's not do that one.
That would be a fun one. On that, mandatory that you're back here in 23 hours because we'll do it all over again. You'll never have this much fun listening to stuff like this all across the board.
Because the last 45 minutes was just a blast. I couldn't contain it. I really did have fun upsetting you, though. I'm just kidding.
I'm glad you had fun.
I was really scared. I'm so glad I'm sitting back here. Thanks for letting me push buttons. That was fun.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
You need to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
You did a very good job of it, too.
Thank you. I feel successful.
That's what it's all about.
I do. All right. Well, are we doing our as we normally?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it on the
Let's
deal.
do it. Ready?
Yeah, there you go.
And
we're gone.
Did it work?
Yeah.